Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you to deliver this word. This is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. You are not like the rest. You were not designed to blend in. You were formed with precision, called by name, and marked by God for this very moment. Right now, in the stillness of this divine encounter, something ancient is stirring within your spirit. Something holy is awakening inside your flesh. A spiritual force is about to strike you, and your body must be ready to carry it. You've been walking through life with burdens no one sees. Every tear cried in secret. Every hour you wrestled in silence. Every time you wanted to quit but kept standing, heaven saw it all. These were not just struggles. They were spiritual contractions. They were your training ground. You were not breaking. You were being built. You thought you were being punished, but you were being purified. Your body wasn't falling apart. It was being prepared to carry fire. You may have been told, you're too emotional, too sensitive, too intense. But what they don't realize is that sensitivity is spiritual radar. That intensity is spiritual sensitivity. You feel more because you're meant to carry more. You sense shifts before they happen. You feel the weight of unseen battles. That is not a flaw. That is evidence. You are marked. You are chosen. You are not here by algorithm. You are here by appointment. The enemy has been trying to confuse you, make you think your weakness disqualifies you. But God is not looking for perfect bodies. He's looking for willing vessels. You've been asking for clarity, for confirmation. This is it. This is the moment your soul recognizes. Your body is not just yours. It is a living altar. Listen closely, your skin, your bones, your breath. All of it is a part of a divine equation. What's coming next won't just hit your mind or your emotions. It will touch your flesh. There is a power that's about to descend that cannot be explained. It can only be carried, and only the prepared will hold it without breaking. You can't scroll past this. You can't pretend you didn't hear. This is heaven putting its finger on your chest and saying, you, yes, you, prepare your body, clean your temple, sanctify your senses, set yourself apart. Because when the spiritual wave strikes, and it will, you won't have time to get ready. You'll need to be ready. Some of you have been feeling tired for no reason. Others have had dreams that disturb or stir them. There are aches and pains that don't make sense to doctors, but your spirit knows. Your inner man is signaling something is coming. You're not sick. You're not broken. You're not crazy. You're spiritually alert, and your body is reacting to what's about to touch down. Don't look for confirmation in people. The Spirit has already confirmed it inside you. You've felt it building. You've sensed the shift. Now it's about to manifest. But hear this, God will not release power to a temple that is filled with compromise. This is not about diet or exercise. This is about discipline, holiness, consecration, a clean vessel. The breath of the Lord declared through the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 5. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. Chosen one, your bones are not dry. They are about to breathe again. Your body is not empty. It is being positioned for a divine filling. The breath of God is about to strike you like wind into dead lungs. And when it does, nothing will remain the same. If your spirit bears witness with this word, comment the number 888 as a prophetic act. Let it be a sign to heaven and hell that you are ready, that your body is open, that you are prepared to carry what others cannot. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel right now. This is not about content, this is about consecration. Stay connected, stay aligned. The messages that follow are divine instructions for marked ones like you. And if this message stirred something deep within you, don't stay silent. This is not the time to hesitate. Heaven responds to bold faith. When you type 888 in the comments, you are not just interacting with a post, you are activating your altar. You are declaring to the Spirit, I'm ready. Ready for the breath. Ready for the strike. Ready to be set apart. Let your body testify before your breakthrough arrives. This is the moment the transformation begins from the inside out. You think your body is tired from life, from stress, from work, but chosen one. What you're feeling is not simply exhaustion, it is spiritual friction. Your physical frame is feeling the tremors of what's approaching in the unseen. There is a force drawing near. And your body, this temple of skin and bone, is being stirred to respond. Heaven does not strike where there is no preparation. Before fire descended on Mount Carmel, the altar was rebuilt. Before glory filled the temple, it had to be cleansed. And before the Spirit rested on Jesus like a dove, his body was baptized. God does not pour power into chaos. He inhabits what has been ordered, consecrated, and made ready. Your body is not just flesh. It is a vessel. It is a gate. It is the outer court of a deeper mystery. This is why the attacks haven't just been mental, they've been physical. The enemy has tried to distract you with illness, weariness, sudden cravings, because he knows something you haven't fully grasped yet. Your body is the front line. If he can break your vessel, he can delay your assignment. If he can keep your temple cluttered, he can restrict what flows through you. But even now, the Spirit of God is beginning to reclaim territory. Not just your mind, not just your emotions, but your body, the place where power will land. The physical housing for holy purpose, the clay that will carry divine fire. There's a reason you felt discomfort in your routines, a reason your habits have started to feel out of sync. The things you used to consume mentally, physically, emotionally, no longer sit right. What once entertained you now feels like noise. That's not you being off. That's your body preparing to become sacred ground. The hunger that's been waking up in you is not natural. It's spiritual. A longing for purity, for wholeness, for alignment. You're not being dramatic. You're being summoned, called into formation. Your bones are starting to remember who you are. Chosen one. When God prepares to move, he doesn't start from the outside in. He starts from the inside out, but he finishes in the body. That's why Jesus didn't remain a spirit. He came in the flesh. That's why resurrection didn't happen in a dream. It happened in a tomb, in a body. That's why your body matters. You've underestimated the holiness of your form. You've been taught that power is only in the spirit. But Scripture shows again and again bodies carry the mantle. Moses stretched out his staff-holding hand. Elijah ran ahead of chariots. The apostles laid hands on the sick. The woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of Jesus' robe with her hand, and virtue flowed into her body. Power always flows through the physical. We hear the voice of Paul in his first letter to the Corinthians. chapter 6, verse 20. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. You are not just a spirit having a physical experience. You are a chosen vessel whose body is being calibrated to contain heaven. And because of that, the enemy has declared war, not just on your mind or your ministry, but on your health, on your energy, on your flesh. But what he doesn't realize is that every ache, every weakness, every resistance is awakening your awareness. You're learning to feel in the natural what's forming in the supernatural. You're not just being prepared to feel power, you're being shaped to carry it. Because this next move of God will not be symbolic, it will be embodied. You will walk in rooms and atmospheres will shift, not because of your words, but because your entire being has become a conduit of holiness. People will feel it in your presence. Demons will recognize it before you speak. But first, the vessel must be made ready. Let heaven do its work. Let the discomfort cleanse you. Let the tension pull your flesh into obedience. You don't need to force it. Just yield. Listen to what your body is telling you. When something pollutes you, cut it off. When something aligns you with heaven, embrace it. This is not about appearance, it is about assignment. There's a stillness required now, a sharpness in your awareness. Pay attention to what you feed yourself, not just food, but music, conversations, visuals. Everything you allow in your body either hosts glory or hinders it. You don't need to live in fear, you just need to live in reverence. Because the moment is coming, the surge is approaching, and when it strikes, it won't give warning. It will descend suddenly, like lightning on a mountaintop, and only the prepared body will carry it without collapse. You are not behind. You are being aligned. Every breath, every heartbeat is part of something sacred. You are becoming more than you've ever been, not in theory, but in form. You've been feeling it, haven't you? The tug in your chest, the pull on your limbs, the strange tightness in your spirit that won't let you settle. It's not anxiety, it's not fatigue. It's the spirit alerting your body to prepare. Because what's coming will not only impact your soul, it will course through your bones, burn through your veins, and awaken things in your body you thought were long dead. God is not merely whispering to your heart anymore. He is beginning to shake your very frame. There is a stirring in your muscles, a shift in your posture, a divine discomfort in your physical being. Don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it as coincidence. This is holy agitation. Some of you can no longer sleep through the night without waking in a cold sweat. Others have begun feeling pressure in your chest during prayer. These are not random symptoms. They are spiritual alarms sounding through the body. Your flesh is catching signals before your logic can make sense of it. Because your flesh, even in its weakness, was created to respond to the glory of God. This is why the enemy's latest attacks have been so specifically targeted toward your physical rhythms: sudden laziness, emotional fatigue, addictions reawakening, cravings for old comforts. He's not just tempting your habits, he's trying to dull your body so you can't feel what's coming. If your body is numb, it can't receive the impact. If your temple is cluttered, it can't carry the oil. You have to understand, your body is part of the strategy of heaven. Not just your words, not just your ideas, your actual hands, your actual feet, your breath, your eyes. These are tools of divine warfare. And the moment you begin to treat your body like an instrument, not just an inconvenience, you become unstoppable. There's a war being waged over your body because there's a word about to be released through your body. Not just in sermons, in how you move, in how you walk into rooms, in how you carry the presence. And for that release to flow unhindered, heaven is putting pressure on your posture. Conviction is falling not just on your sins, but on your senses. Chosen one. Your sensitivity is a gift. If you cry easily, don't curse it. If you feel things deeply, don't resent it. That's evidence you haven't grown numb. That's a sign your body still knows how to respond to the Spirit. Some feel God in their intellect, but you feel Him in your skin. You know the Spirit by the trembling in your fingers, the chills in your spine, the heaviness in your breath when He enters the room. That's not emotion, that's embodiment. The prophets of old didn't just hear words, they trembled, fell, shook, went mute, lost strength. God didn't just speak to them, He struck them, and they were never the same. You are being positioned for the same, and that's why every system in your life is being rearranged, because the glory that's about to visit you cannot rest on a body that's out of order. There's a detox happening in the Spirit, and it's reaching into your very limbs. Your appetite is changing. Your stamina is being rebuilt. Your lungs are being trained to carry new breath. This is not random. This is reformation. So don't resist what your body is trying to tell you. Don't silence the signs. If you need to rest, obey. If you need to stretch, obey. If you need to fast, obey. Your obedience in the small movements is where breakthrough will begin. Heaven does not fall on spectators. It falls on vessels prepared in every fiber of their being. The prophet David once cried out, as recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 103, verse 1, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless His holy name." End quote. He didn't just bless God with his thoughts. He called everything within him to praise. That includes muscle, blood, lungs, skin, the entire body activated in worship. And now, that same cry is rising in you. If your spirit knows this is the truth, if you feel your body testifying even now, comment, "My body knows." Say it because your body has already heard the message from heaven. Say it because your breath changed when the Spirit hovered. Say it because no more proof is needed. Your bones already agree. This is your prophetic yes before the strike comes. It's not just a feeling, it's alignment. When you say, "My body knows," you're declaring that your temple is no longer resisting, it's ready to receive. You've carried burdens that no one around you could understand, not because you're weaker, but because you're designed for more. There are aches in your body that medicine couldn't cure, fatigue that rest couldn't fix, and tension that stretching couldn't relieve. And still, through it all, something in you has remained alert. That's not survival, that's spiritual preparation. Your body has been on standby, not for healing alone, but for activation. God is not interested in polishing you to appear perfect on the outside while leaving the interior undone. He is doing a deep work that stretches from the soul to the skin. The divine fire that's approaching your life isn't symbolic, it's literal. It will rest on your body in tangible ways. And if your vessel is unprepared, it will feel like pressure. But if you are aligned, it will feel like power. The Lord does not bypass the body. From the first breath in Adam's lungs to the overshadowing of Mary's womb, the physical form has always been central in God's plan. Your spirit may be strong, but if your body breaks, the mission delays. That's why the war over your physical health, your eating patterns, your fatigue, your cycles of procrastination, and even your posture has been more than circumstantial. It's been strategic. Hell has tried to disqualify you by destabilizing your temple, but the Spirit is reclaiming it. You were never meant to function with low energy, dulled senses, and numbed spiritual reflexes. That sluggishness you felt in the past season wasn't laziness, it was interference. Something was trying to slow your temple before it could receive divine fire. But heaven is correcting the rhythm. You may have noticed your cravings changing. Your tolerance for noise and distraction is shrinking. That's not just maturity, it's spiritual detox. The temple is cleansing itself for a visitation. Even in Scripture, visitations came with trembling, physical reactions. The mountain shook when the Lord descended in fire. Daniel fell weak at the knees when the angel appeared. Saul was blinded. Isaiah cried out because his lips felt unclean. Ezekiel collapsed face down under the glory. Power doesn't pass by the body, it confronts it. So if you've felt disoriented, overwhelmed, or strange lately, don't panic. Your body is being trained to stand in the weight of what's coming. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop resisting the pressure. The hand of the Lord is not against you, it's molding you. There's a shift that takes place when your body stops fighting the process and starts cooperating with the Spirit. You'll begin to move differently, eat differently, sit differently. You'll feel the urge to fast, not out of discipline, but out of desperation. You'll wake up early, not from alarms, but from divine summons. This is not behavior change. It's bodily agreement with the assignment. What you once tolerated in your physical environment will start to agitate you. Certain spaces will no longer feel like home. Certain atmospheres will make your skin crawl. This is not hypersensitivity, it's holy sensitivity. Your temple is rejecting what doesn't match your coming glory. And here's what the world won't understand. You're not changing to become better. You're changing because heaven is drawing closer. When God gets near, things can't stay how they were. When glory approaches, the body must adjust. You won't be able to move the same way anymore. You won't be able to treat your body like an afterthought, because the fire that's coming will burn through layers you didn't even know existed. We hear the words spoken by Paul in his first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 23. May your whole spirit, soul and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. End quote. That's the alignment God is after. Not just your belief, not just your heart, but your whole form. A full body readiness for full contact glory. You are not being transformed halfway. You are being renewed in your entire being. So, if you've been asking why your body feels like it's been at war, this is your answer. Heaven is customizing your vessel for a weight no one around you has been assigned to carry. You are not fragile, you're fortified. Every stretch, every discipline, every choice to deny your flesh is expanding your capacity for divine contact. And soon, your body will not only house the Spirit, it will radiate it. You won't have to announce what's changed. The atmosphere will shift when you enter. The oil will speak from your skin. Heaven will move through your breath. Chosen one. Let's speak clearly now. The spiritual force that's approaching isn't vague, distant, or metaphorical. It is specific. It is near, and it is weighty. Heaven is not preparing to touch you lightly. It is preparing to land on you with power. And when it does, everything in your life, your schedule, your body, your relationships, your atmosphere will come under divine reordering. Your body is the first battlefield, but it's also the first territory of victory. Every time you stretch your hands in obedience, every time you deny the craving that doesn't align, every time you wake when the Spirit stirs you at 3 a.m., you are not just trying harder. You are hosting heaven. You are proving, with your movements, that your temple is no longer available to darkness. You see, the enemy doesn't fear loud people. He fears prepared people, the ones who have made room, the ones who have set their flesh in alignment, the ones who don't just say yes with their mouths, but with their muscles, their choices, and their rhythms. And that's who you're becoming. You're no longer just talking about breakthrough. You're becoming the place where breakthrough lives. That's why things feel tighter lately. That's why the cost feels heavier. The more prepared your body becomes, the more expensive compromise becomes. This isn't about religious guilt. This is about spiritual stewardship. Heaven is trusting you with more. So heaven is calling for more. Chosen one. The shift is happening, and it's happening in real time. Your hunger is starting to purify. Your posture is becoming alert. Your breath, your speech, your patterns, they're being rewired to become conductors of glory. You're not just avoiding sin, you're becoming habitable for God Himself. That's why the enemy's attacks have gotten more subtle. He doesn't show up in bold rebellion, he shows up in apathy, in disconnection, in distraction. Because if he can get you scrolling endlessly, sleeping excessively, numbing yourself with noise, he can shut down the temple before the glory arrives. But something in you is resisting now. And that resistance, that's holiness rising in the flesh. When the glory comes, and it won't just affect your heart. It will require your body, and only those who have aligned will sustain what others cannot. So, if this word is confronting you, convicting you, or confirming what you've already felt, don't brush it off. That's not emotion. That's activation. When the Spirit breathes, the soul stirs, but the body obeys. God is waking you from the inside and the outside. And as this message speaks to you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your circle, someone weary, someone aching, someone spiritually asleep needs to hear it. Don't just scroll past. Take one moment, right now, to like this message. Share it with someone whose temple is under attack. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that's been confirming what your spirit already knows. You're not just following a page. You're staying aligned with prophetic instruction. And if this message has been speaking to the core of your being, if you know you're being called to prepare, not just your soul, but your physical self, sow into what is shifting you. If God is moving through these words, and you sense it, consider giving. Every seed you release becomes a yes to heaven's assignment. We're not just building content, we're building carriers of glory. And you're one of them. Now hear this. The power of God doesn't land where it's not honored. Your body, your temple, your breath, it all becomes the altar. And what you place on the altar becomes the place of fire. The ancient priests didn't just pray, they washed. They clothed themselves a certain way. They carried the ark with precision. Every part of their preparation was physical, because when the power of God came, it didn't hover, it hit. And if they were careless, it cost them everything. But you, chosen one, are not careless. You are being warned, shaped, and prepared. You are being told in advance because God trusts you to respond. The Apostle Paul wrote to the Romans in chapter 12, verse 1, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Lev, not your thoughts, not your feelings, your bodies. This is worship in motion, sacrifice in form, holiness in muscle and movement. You don't need a stage or a microphone. Your obedience is the sound that shakes hell. Your consecration is the fragrance that calls heaven closer. So stand tall, shoulders back, breathe in deep. You're not just surviving, you're preparing to carry a move of God. And when it falls, you won't collapse. You'll contain it. You've been feeling the pressure build, the restlessness in your spirit, the agitation in your body. It's not random. It's prophetic. You are being prepared for impact. But before the power of God falls upon your life, something else is happening first. Your physical shell is being recalibrated. This isn't about cosmetic changes. This is about consecration. Heaven is calling for alignment in your entire being, starting with your body. Because when the Spirit strikes, it will not just awaken your faith, it will demand that your flesh respond. There's a reason the warfare has intensified. The fatigue that suddenly shows up midday, the cravings that hit you out of nowhere, the restlessness that stirs you from sleep. Your body is becoming aware of a power your mind hasn't even fully understood yet. This is preparation. This is heaven's tension shaping your temple. God has always worked through bodies. Jesus did not walk the earth as a mist. He walked in a body. He healed bodies. He was broken in the body. And he was raised in a body. So why would we think the next wave of glory would skip over ours? You were not designed to carry spiritual power in isolation from your form. Your body was built to bear the weight of heaven. But it must be set apart. It must be yielded. It must be strengthened, not for show, but for service. That's why the Spirit has been whispering to you about your choices. That's why you've been convicted lately, not just about what you watch, but what you eat, what you consume, what you do in private. God isn't micromanaging you. He's protecting his investment. He's preparing his landing place. Some of you have been asking, why do I feel so uncomfortable in my own skin? The answer isn't shame. The answer is awakening. You're feeling the rumble of transformation. You're shedding layers that no longer serve your assignment. Heaven is tightening the fit. Because loose vessels spill glory. And you were never called to leak. You were called to carry. Look back over the past few weeks. How many times have you felt the nudge to clean up your environment, to drink more water, to fast without planning it, to cut off that habit you used to excuse? That wasn't willpower. That was the Spirit alerting your body. The time is close. Get ready. There is a holy order rising in you, not driven by rules, but by resonance. Your body is starting to recognize what's holy. You're beginning to crave stillness, not chaos, light, not screens. Worship, not noise. This is not you maturing. This is you becoming sensitive to the realm you were born from. You've gone from tolerating your body to stewarding it. And that is the shift that unlocks capacity. God can only fill what you've made room for. And many will miss the next move of God, not because they weren't spiritual, but because their bodies weren't willing. The prophet Isaiah once recorded the words of the Lord in chapter 58, verse 11. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. End of T. Strengthen your frame, because the weight is coming. Chosen one. Don't brush off what your body is sensing. What seems like simple fatigue could be God's way of saying, pause. Let me work deeper. What looks like appetite loss may be an invitation to fast. What feels like agitation may actually be anticipation. You are not behind. You are on the brink. The trembling you feel is the sound of glory getting closer. Let this be your response today. Type the number 444 in the comments if your body has been testifying before your mind could explain it. Why 444? Because 4 is the number of foundation, and when heaven builds something that lasts, it begins by establishing a firm foundation, spirit, soul, and body unified in purpose. Let this number be your signal, not just to the algorithm, but to heaven itself. You are ready. You are listening. You are being rebuilt. This isn't discipline for the sake of image. It's alignment for the sake of invasion. Heaven is coming, not just to visit you, but to dwell in you. Make room. Make space. Strengthen your frame. Because the weight of glory is about to arrive. And when it comes, nothing in your body will remain ordinary. Everything will be holy. Everything will burn with purpose. There's a reason the flesh resists change. It knows what transformation costs. Your body, as much as your mind, remembers every place it's been broken, every habit it's relied on to cope, every cycle that numbed the ache. So, when heaven begins to press against your physical patterns, it stirs up discomfort, not because you're failing, but because you're being freed. You see, transformation is not gentle at first. It disturbs what's been dormant. It confronts what's been tolerated. And often, it speaks loudest in the language of tension, tightness in the chest, pressure in the limbs, sudden weeping for no visible reason. That's not weakness. That's the friction between your old rhythms and your new assignment. Chosen one. You are not just being called to think differently. You are being reformed to move differently. Heaven is preparing to operate through your body. And for that to happen, your body must be retrained. Not punished, trained. Not shamed, shaped. This is why surrender is no longer optional. The Spirit is calling for full participation. Partial alignment will not carry the fullness of glory. God doesn't just want your yes in prayer, He wants your yes in posture, in routine, in appetite, in endurance. Some of the fatigue you've been feeling lately is not the result of sin, but of stretching. The Spirit is expanding your capacity, and your frame is catching up. That's why old comforts feel irritating now. That's why certain foods, shows, environments, even relationships suddenly feel incompatible. The frequency of heaven is disrupting everything in your life that operates beneath the sound of glory. When God reclaims a vessel, He doesn't start with a new purpose. He starts with a new standard. And right now, heaven is lifting the standard over your body, not to burden you, but to bless you, because a greater weight requires a stronger frame, and the weight that's coming is no longer symbolic, it's personal. Somewhere deep in your spirit, you already know this. That's why the call to fast no longer feels like a religious duty, it feels like survival. That's why stretching in the morning now feels sacred. That's why your hands tingle when you worship. Your spine stiffens when you hear truth. Your breathing shifts when the Spirit draws near. Your body is becoming an altar. That's not a metaphor. That's reality. And altars require attention. They must be maintained, purified, respected. God doesn't pour fire on random surface. He chooses consecrated ground. Scripture reminds us in Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 1. Since we have these promises, dear friends, let us purify ourselves from everything that contaminates body and spirit, perfecting holiness out of reverence for God. Amen. Notice that the call isn't just to purify the spirit, it's also to purify the body. The two are not in conflict. They are partners in holy obedience. That's why your physical discomfort lately is not punishment, it's pruning. There's a deep rewiring taking place beneath your skin. You may feel it as irritation, restlessness, aches in your joints, a sudden surge of energy followed by stillness. It's all part of the recalibration. Your nervous system is catching up with your spirit. Your gut is detoxing what your soul has finally rejected. Your eyes are starting to see differently. Your breath is beginning to anchor in a new rhythm. This is not a season of managing symptoms. It's a season of confronting root systems, the places in your body that have stored trauma, the muscles that have carried survival for too long, the back that's bowed from shame, the stomach that's tightened from fear. God is not bypassing any of it. He is stepping into all of it. The Spirit isn't asking for cosmetic obedience. He's asking for cellular surrender, a posture of yes that reaches from your lungs to your fingertips. Because what's coming will require you to be fully inhabitable. You're not being reformed just for you. There are people assigned to your breakthrough, atmospheres assigned to your presence, demonic cycles that will break when you walk in, not because you spoke, but because your body carries weight. And so, the friction you feel is holy. The restlessness is sacred. The pressure is prophetic. Don't escape it. Embrace it. Your body is not betraying you. It's becoming something new, even in its trembling. It's testifying, even in its weakness. It's yielding. Something divine is pressing through your flesh. And when it breaks forth, even the dust around you will recognize the glory you carry. There is a mystery unfolding in you, and it is happening layer by layer, not just in your spirit, but in your flesh. You may not see the full picture yet, but your body already knows something sacred is on the horizon. That heaviness you've been feeling isn't just emotional weight, it's spiritual proximity. The nearness of the divine always presses against the natural, and your body feels the tension first. God is not asking you to become superhuman. He's asking you to become submitted. You don't have to force your body to become holy. You have to surrender it to the process that's already begun. This is not about controlling your body into alignment. This is about offering it moment by moment as a living act of worship. There's a reason you felt like your skin doesn't quite fit the same anymore. Like something internal is stretching beyond the frame you've known. That's because the version of you that heaven is building cannot fit inside the body of yesterday's mindset, yesterday's habits, or yesterday's rhythms. You are being expanded, not just in thought, but in structure. The discomfort is real. The stretching is sacred. You are being fitted for glory. You may have once thought that your body was in the way of your purpose. Too tired, too wounded, too limited. But the truth is, God has chosen your frame as the vehicle of His visitation. You are not simply spirit. You are not merely soul. You are a triune creation. And your body is the earthly agreement to heaven's move. This is why the Holy Spirit has been prompting you in such specific ways. It's not random. When you suddenly feel to walk instead of sit, to rest instead of scroll, to be silent instead of speak, these are not mood swings. These are heavenly cues. Your body is being retrained to follow divine rhythm, not worldly chaos. This is the season where obedience will look like hydration, rest, stillness, stretching, fasting, taking care of what God crafted, not for appearance, not for pride, but for presence. There is presence coming that your body must be able to sustain. In the Old Testament, when the cloud of God's presence would descend upon the tabernacle, the priests didn't rush. They stood still. They waited. Their hands were steady. Their eyes were fixed. Why? Because the glory was heavy. If they moved carelessly, it could kill them. Reverence wasn't just spiritual, it was physical. That same weight is approaching you. Chosen one. The presence you've prayed for is coming, not to thrill your emotions, but to inhabit your form. And when it does, your breath will slow, your spine will straighten, your hands will burn, your lips may tremble. These are not signs of fear. These are indicators of glory landing on human clay. Paul, in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 10, described this mystery beautifully. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. Do you see it? The body is not a side effect of salvation. It is the stage for resurrection life to be revealed. This is why the resistance has been so strong in recent weeks. The temptation to eat what dulls your clarity, the urge to scroll when you should be still, the pressure to give in to fatigue instead of wait upon the Lord. Because the enemy knows, if your body aligns, your whole life aligns. Chosen one. You are entering a season of bodily awakening. This will not be about striving, it will be about sensing. The more you surrender, the more sensitive you will become. You will walk into rooms and feel atmospheres shift before anyone says a word. You will touch a shoulder and healing will flow, not because you're dramatic, but because you're available. That is what this preparation has been about. Availability, embodiment, presence. God is not preparing your body for a platform. He is preparing it for power. And that power will not stay in the clouds. It will descend in breath, in blood, in trembling muscle, in prophetic motion. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed by the simplicity of it all. How heaven invades in a walk, a quiet meal, a whispered prayer while stretching. Don't despise those moments. That's where the glory will move first in the ordinary. Through the surrendered, you are becoming holy ground. Not just your spirit, your body. There are moments when your body knows the truth before your mind can process it. You walk into a room, and your chest tightens. You hear a word, and your spine straightens. You begin to pray, and your fingers tingle. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. Your body is no longer just existing, it's discerning. Chosen one. This is a rare gift. Sensitivity in the flesh is not a weakness, it's a weapon. The same way a musician tunes their instrument before a concert, heaven is fine-tuning your physical being. Every nerve, every muscle, every instinct is being aligned with what the Spirit is about to release through you. You don't need to force anything. You only need to yield. The more you yield, the more accurate you become. You'll begin to notice how your body reacts to different environments. Some rooms will make you feel drained. Others will charge you. Some voices will agitate you, while others will anchor you. Don't dismiss this. That's the Spirit speaking through your senses. Your physical responses are no longer just biological, they are prophetic. There was a time when you would push past those signals, brush them off as mood swings or overthinking, but not anymore. Now, you are learning to pause, to listen, to honor the way your body responds. Because your body is not a barrier to the Spirit, it's becoming His channel. That's why the attacks have changed. The enemy doesn't just want to burden your heart anymore. He's aiming for your body. Delayed sleep, random illnesses, stiffness, anxiety manifesting in your limbs. Because if he can cloud your body, he can muffle the signals from heaven. But here's what he forgot. You are not owned by pain. You are governed by presence. The pain may touch you, but it will not master you. The weariness may visit, but it cannot make its home. Because your temple is not built on emotion, it's anchored in obedience. And where obedience lives, glory follows. The psalmist wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not silence, it's sacred awareness. When your body goes quiet, the glory begins to speak. And in that stillness, you realize He's not just near, He's moving through you. There is resurrection power stirring beneath your skin. The aches are being redeemed. The fatigue is becoming fuel. The bones that once felt hollow are about to carry weight. Do not let culture numb your awareness. You were never meant to live desensitized. You were never meant to move like everyone else. That's why parties exhaust you now. That's why certain music unsettles you. That's why surface conversations feel like sandpaper to your soul. You are not broken. You are being refined. When the Spirit rests on you, He speaks through you. And when the Spirit lives in you, He speaks through your body. Your discernment is becoming multidimensional. You don't just sense things in your mind, you feel them in your breath. Your walk, your stillness. That's why your posture matters now. Your pace, your tone, the way you rise, the way you rest. These are not empty gestures. They are sacred expressions of a body under glory. Some of you reading this have already felt it happening. You've begun standing taller, breathing slower, eating with intention, walking with purpose. That's not discipline for show, it's preparation for power. And if you felt that shift, if your body has started prophesying before your mouth speaks, this is your confirmation. Comment: glory in motion. And let those 3 words be a prophetic stamp. A declaration that the glory is not a distant cloud, it is moving through you. Through how you stand, through how you respond, through how you carry God without needing a platform. You are not performing, you are becoming. Say it again. with weight, glory in motion, because that's what you are now. Because that's what you are now. And it won't stop here. What begins in your body will spill into your atmosphere. People will walk by and sense something different. Environments will respond to your stillness. Not because you forced a reaction, but because the Spirit is alive in you. And heaven moves when you do. Even your silence will carry sound. Even your rest will release weight. This is the level of embodiment the Father is calling you into, not to impress people, but to host His glory without limits. You are no longer asking for visitation. You are becoming habitation. And from this point forward, everything in your life must come into agreement with that reality. You don't carry what others carry. And that's why your process cannot look like theirs. You were not called to blend in, you were marked to bear weight. And that weight begins not in your spirit alone, but in your frame. Chosen one, you are a vessel under construction, and the kind of power God is preparing to release through you requires that your whole being, mind, soul, and body comes into divine order. This is not behavior modification. This is holy renovation. There are things shifting beneath your skin that you can't explain. Tensions rising in your muscles. A fire that builds behind your eyes when truth hits. Breath that slows when the presence enters. These aren't accidents. This is how heaven speaks to the temple. This is how the Spirit begins to establish dominion, not just over your soul, but over your bones. The enemy has spent years trying to make you hate your own body, either through shame, insecurity, illness, or addiction. He has tried to turn your own temple against you. Why? Because he knows what you're about to carry. He knows that your body will soon become a living conduit of divine authority, and a vessel at war with itself cannot carry the weight of glory. But that war is ending, not because you've achieved perfection, but because you've surrendered your flesh to the fire. You're beginning to understand now, this isn't about forcing your body to behave, it's about giving your body back to its creator, the one who formed it, the one who knows how to fill it, the one who never needed your flawlessness, only your faithfulness. That's why certain disciplines are returning. You're feeling the call to wake up earlier, to walk in silence, to fast not as punishment, but as preparation. The Spirit is retraining your reflexes, resetting your internal rhythms to match heaven's heartbeat. And soon, your body won't just respond to glory, it will carry it. This is not about pretending to be spiritual. This is about becoming inhabitable. You don't need a stage to carry presence. You don't need a microphone to release power. All you need is alignment, internal, external, physical, spiritual. And once that alignment is complete, everything you touch will shift. People will weep when they hug you. Rooms will still when you speak. Darkness will flee when you enter, not when you shout. Because you are no longer just housing truth, you've become the altar. You've come too far to fall back into comfort. Too much has been shed for you to wear old skin. This new level requires your full attention, not to impress people, but to handle what others cannot. Some will look at your lifestyle and think it's extreme. Let them. They haven't seen what you've seen. They don't feel what you feel. You are not living for their understanding. You are moving under divine instruction. And heaven doesn't explain itself to crowds. It confirms itself in fire. Paul wrote in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 27, I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. This isn't about salvation. It's about stewardship. About finishing the race without collapsing under weight you were built to carry. You're not just chosen to believe, you're chosen to embody. And as this message resonates deep in your bones, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you know is under attack in their temple. Someone you love is battling silently in their body. Be bold like this message. Share it. And subscribe so you don't miss a single word that heaven is using to rewire your life. This isn't just another video. This is instruction for the chosen. And if this message has touched you, if it has stirred something you didn't even have words for, sow into what's shifting you. Don't hesitate to give. When you partner with the move of God through your seed, you're not just donating, you're declaring, I honor this glory. I make room for more. Every offering becomes a yes in the spirit realm. You're not supporting content. You're strengthening consecration. You're not fueling a brand. You're backing a move of God. Chosen one. You are no longer asking for access, you are access. And that comes with responsibility. Take care of your temple. Take care of your vessel. Treat your body like it matters, because it does. Heaven has chosen to rest there. The fire will not fall on empty words. It will fall on surrendered flesh. And you are being prepared to stand in it. There comes a point in your journey where the shift stops being subtle, where the signs aren't whispers anymore, they are undeniable. Where your body, once numb to spiritual movement, begins to react with full awareness. That's where you are now. The transition is no longer spiritual theory, it's physical manifestation. You are not imagining it. The way your skin tightens when something is off, the sudden wave of peace when you enter a worship atmosphere, the energy in your legs when truth is spoken. These are the marks of a vessel being transformed from the inside out. Heaven is no longer knocking on the door of your life, it's stepping through it. And your body is answering before your mouth does. Some call it sensitivity, some call it discernment. But what it really is embodiment. You are no longer separating the sacred from the physical. You're living in the full integration of who you were created to be, a temple, whole and unified. For too long, the body has been treated like a necessary inconvenience in the spiritual life, a shell to tolerate until glory comes. But the truth is far greater. Your body was crafted with glory in mind. Its senses, its structure, its capacities, they were built to recognize, respond to, and even radiate the presence of God. What sin tried to corrupt, grace is now reclaiming. That's why the warfare has moved to a new level. You may have noticed that the battles of the mind and emotion are now being joined by battles in the flesh, unexpected fatigue, strange agitation, patterns of restlessness that don't make sense. It's not because you're weak, it's because the enemy is desperate. He knows what happens when your body and your spirit come into agreement. When the temple stands up and says, "We're ready." No. There's no off switch once that alignment takes place. Glory flows continuously, not as a feeling, but as a presence that moves through you. You are no longer waiting for the Spirit to visit. You are learning to host Him with your very breath, your steps, your stillness. This is why the mundane is starting to feel sacred. Washing your hands, preparing your meals, walking through your neighborhood. These moments used to feel like background noise. Now, they feel holy, because you're not the same vessel anymore. What God is doing in your body isn't temporary. He's not visiting you for a season, he's inhabiting you for an assignment. And when he inhabits something, he reorders it, he sanctifies it, he sharpens it. That's why your appetite is changing, not just for food, but for atmosphere, for conversations, for people. Things that once energized you now feel draining. Places you once loved now feel loud. You're not moody, you're being matured. It is written in the prophet Malachi's vision, chapter 3, verse 3, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." Oh, and do you know what that means for your body? It means the fire you feel is not judgment, it's refinement. It means the tension is not punishment, it's polishing. God is removing every layer that cannot carry glory. Not because he's angry, but because he wants nothing to block what he's placing inside you. Your nervous system is adjusting to a higher frequency. That's why overstimulation feels heavier now. That's why silence feels safer. You are not escaping, you are aligning. The Spirit is reducing the noise so that what's true can rise. You are becoming an instrument, not one that plays songs, but one that hosts sound. When heaven breathes, your body will be the amplifier. When power surges, your steps will carry it forward. When breakthrough breaks out, your presence will be the catalyst. This is why training matters. Not just spiritual discipline, but physical obedience, honoring rest, honoring movement, honoring hydration, honoring what you consume. You don't do these things to perform. You do them because God lives here now. You are housing something holy. You are carrying something costly. And the way you treat your body reflects what you believe about that weight. You used to try to escape your body. Now, you're learning to inhabit it, fully, boldly, purposefully. Because this is the temple. This is the ark. This is the dwelling place. And even when you feel ordinary, when you're doing laundry, when you're stretching your hands, when you're lying in silence, glory is still moving. Through your lungs, through your bloodstream, through the quiet agreement of your flesh with heaven's purpose. You are not just a vessel for prayer. You are a physical altar for fire. And the fire is coming. There is something different about you, and it's becoming harder to hide. You can feel it in the way people look at you now, not with suspicion, but with curiosity. They sense something they can't explain. You haven't said a word, but something about your presence speaks. That's because your body is starting to broadcast what your spirit has been carrying in silence. Glory doesn't need to shout to be felt. When it rests on a person, even their stillness becomes prophetic. Even their breath becomes evidence. And that's what's happening to you. Your posture has changed. Your routines have shifted. Your responses to things that used to tempt you now reveal a maturity you didn't know was in you. That's not coincidence. That's conversion. Your body is no longer resisting the Spirit. It's starting to recognize Him. The transformation is not just in your soul. It's in your skin, your joints, your voice, your movements. This is what alignment looks like when it becomes embodied. You are no longer trying to fit heaven into your life. You're learning to let your life form around heaven. That's why the small decisions suddenly carry weight. The snacks you reach for, the music you tolerate, the pace at which you walk, even how long you look at a screen. None of it is random anymore. The Spirit is teaching you how to dwell, not just believe. Some of you have been asking, why do I feel so undone over simple things? A song that makes you cry, a walk that feels like worship, a whisper that echoes louder than a sermon. It's because the volume of your soul is increasing. Your sensitivity is no longer a liability, it's a signpost that your temple is tuned in. This is what happens when glory gets close. Your body starts reacting before your mind can explain. And yes, that includes the discomfort. The moments when you feel like you're unraveling, when your limbs feel heavy, when you can't explain the ache. These are not setbacks. These are signals. Glory is pressing in, and your body is clearing space. Don't resist it. Don't analyze it. Just yield. It's not emotionalism. It's preparation. The prophet Habakkuk, in chapter 2, verse 20, declared a line that now feels more relevant than ever. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. End. Your body is that temple now. And sometimes the only response to the weight of God is stillness, silence, reverence. Not performance, but presence. Not doing, but becoming. Chosen one. What you're feeling in your bones is not burnout, it's birthing. What seems like stillness is really saturation. God is pouring something into you that your body is struggling to contain. But it will hold. You will be able to carry it. Because you're not being filled for yourself. You're being filled for impact. And your impact starts here, in the discipline of surrender, in the consistency of obedience, in the quiet moments that no one sees, but all of heaven honors. If this word is resonating with you, if your body has been responding to the Spirit in ways you can't explain, then this is not just confirmation, it's a commissioning. Comment the number 555 if you know God is building something in your temple right now. Why 555? Because 5 represents grace, and you are being given grace upon grace to carry this next weight. Triple grâce, triple strength, triple confirmation, not earned, bestowed. Heaven doesn't demand perfection, it requires surrender. And 555 is your answer. I surrender in full. Let this number not just be a comment, but a covenant. Every time you feel that holy tension in your chest, remember this number. Every time you feel the fire behind your ribs, remember this grace. You are not being broken. You are being filled. And when the time comes, your body will not only carry power, it will release it. You won't need to announce yourself. You won't need to strive. Those who come near you will feel what you've been cultivating in secret. They'll encounter healing in your presence, peace in your silence, and fire in your footsteps. Not because of who you are, but because of who is dwelling in you. This is the evidence of a prepared vessel, not polished on the outside, but surrendered on the inside. You are not just marked, you are filled. And what fills you now will soon overflow. There is a difference between being inspired and being transformed. Inspiration touches your thoughts. Transformation touches your body. And what God is doing in you now is not motivational, it's incarnational. It's not giving you spiritual ideas. It's changing how you walk, how you breathe, how you exist. You used to carry truth in your mind. Now you carry it in your spine. You used to pray with your lips. Now your posture is a prayer. You used to worship with songs. Now your stillness carries reverence. This is what happens when the Spirit doesn't just visit you, but inhabits you. Your body is no longer neutral. It's no longer random. It's no longer something to manage. It's become something God moves through. This shift is sacred because for too long, the flesh was seen only as weakness. But in the hands of God, even dust can hold fire. Chosen one, you are beginning to walk in a level of spiritual embodiment that few dare to enter. You are allowing the presence of God to affect not just your emotions, but your routines, your physiology, your reflexes, and that is what sets you apart. This is why the stirring feels so deep now, why the discomfort reaches places you didn't even know existed. Because the recalibration isn't just for your spirit, it's for your nervous system, for your gut, for your muscles and joints and breath. The weight of glory doesn't land in the abstract, it lands in the real. And the real, for you, is your body. Think of the tabernacle. Every dimension was measured, every item purified, every movement timed with reverence. Why? Because the glory was tangible, because the presence had mass, it had weight, and it would rest only on what was fully prepared. That's what's happening in you. And it's why your body is responding the way it is. The tears that fall for no reason, the goosebumps when truth is spoken, the fatigue after a moment of intercession, the pulsing in your palms when you worship. You are not malfunctioning. You are registering. You are becoming fluent in a new language, the language of heaven on earth, not spoken in syllables, but in reactions, in breath, in presence. There will come a moment when you'll remember this season, not for how dramatic it looked on the outside, but for how deep the inner work truly was. No stage, no spotlight, just you, your body, and the spirit, refining every fiber of your being. That's the kind of transformation that doesn't fade, because it's not based on emotion, it's based on consecration. And yes, it's costly. You may feel isolated, misunderstood. You may even grieve parts of your former self. But what God is building in you now is not for the approval of others. It's for the accommodation of glory. There is a presence coming that will not rest on pretense. It will only rest on what is true, what is available, what is fully yielded. And your body, imperfect as it is saying yes. This is the fulfillment of Romans chapter 12. Not just in word, but in action. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. This is not symbolic language. It's instruction. Your body is the offering, and the fire of God only falls where there's an altar. So if you've been feeling the fire, the pressure, the refining, it means the altar is active. It means the offering is being accepted. It means heaven sees what you've consecrated and is preparing to rest on it with full weight. The glory that's coming will not just touch your mind, it will electrify your bones. It will shake loose everything that doesn't belong. It will awaken strength where there was only weakness. It will cause your very shadow to carry something eternal. But this can only happen if the vessel is ready. So do not rush through this process. Don't run from the discipline. Don't wish away the waiting. What you feel right now is not delay, it is design. The Spirit is weaving His presence into your physical fabric so that when the power comes, you don't just receive it, you host it. And you won't break under it. You will become one with it. This is what makes you different. Not louder, not busier, but more aligned, more available, more surrendered. Let others chase platform. Let others seek influence. You, chosen one, you are preparing to carry something that cannot be faked. And when it touches you fully, even the dust around your feet will know that God has walked through your body. You are not just marked for impact. You are being built for habitation. And that changes everything. Some people will never understand what's happening to you, and that's okay. What's unfolding inside your body is not for casual explanation. It's sacred. It's holy. It's weighty. And it's happening at a level too deep for words. This is not a journey you broadcast. It's one you embody. You used to crave clarity. Now you crave obedience. You used to ask God for signs. Now your body becomes the sign. The stillness you carry, the atmosphere that shifts when you enter a room, the way your presence quiets chaos before you even speak. These are not personality traits. These are prophetic manifestations. This is what happens when heaven begins to live through human form. You are being transformed into a vessel that no longer separates the divine from the daily. The way you wake up, the way you breathe, the way you move through space, these small things have become sacred acts. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally in agreement with what's always been true. You were made to carry Him. God never intended for His glory to remain in buildings made by human hands. He created you as the living temple, and now your body is catching up with that eternal design. That's why your skin is more sensitive to atmosphere now, why your appetite has shifted, why loudness unsettles you, and silence heals you. Your whole being is adjusting to divine nearness. The fire isn't around you anymore, it's in you. And the closer it burns, the more things that don't belong begin to fall away. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding what never truly belonged. It's strange, isn't it? The things you once called normal now feel foreign. The habits you once justified now feel like contamination. The environments you once tolerated now feel violent to your peace. That's not trauma. That's discernment. You are finally living in agreement with the weight of who you are. And it's not about ego. It's about responsibility. When God trusts you with His glory, He also trusts your frame to protect it. That means your body must become a sanctuary, not a storage unit. A place where holiness isn't an event, but a rhythm. It's why the tension has increased. Why some days your body feels like it's been through battle, because it has. Every cell in you is being recalibrated. Every pattern is being rewritten. Your spiritual senses are no longer limited to dreams and prayer rooms. Now, they move through your breath, your get, your hands, your posture. You are not learning how to pretend to be holy. You are becoming a living echo of heaven. The Apostle Peter once said in his first letter, chapter 2, verse 5, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house. And what is a house without a foundation? Your body is that foundation. And the stones are not laid just in your mind, but in your marrow, your muscle, your movements. You are becoming the place where heaven touches earth, not figuratively, but physically. There is no area of your being that the Spirit is skipping. That's why you feel it even in your routines. The foods that used to comfort you now feel heavy. The conversations that used to entertain you now feel empty. The distractions that once numbed you now feel like theft. Because your sensitivity is increasing. Because your vessel is being filled. And what is full must also be clean. That's why the Spirit keeps inviting you to detox, not just in diet, but in rhythm, in relationships, in how you rest. Because rest is no longer downtime. It's now holy ground. A moment where your body recovers in order to host more glory. Do not mistake this slow season as stagnation. You are not stuck. You are settling into substance. Deep things take time to root, and what God is rooting in, you will not be shaken. Your frame will carry what others can only dream about, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. You didn't ask for this level of transformation, but you answered when it came. And that yes is reshaping everything. This is not temporary. This is not seasonal. This is permanent refinement. You're being prepared for a weight that will remain, not a passing fire, but a sustained flame, not a visitation, but habitation. And that means every part of you must rise to meet it. So, breathe deep. Chosen one, stand still. Feel the ground under your feet. Feel the breath in your lungs. Feel the pulse of purpose in your chest. This is not ordinary existence. This is holy embodiment. You are not waiting for glory. You are carrying it. Chosen one. By now you know, this is not just a message. This is a mirror. Everything you've been feeling in your body, everything you've been sensing in the quiet hours, heaven is now putting language to it. You're not losing your mind. You're aligning your temple. There is no going back to the numbness you once lived in. Your flesh, your breath, your bones, they are waking up. Glory is not knocking anymore. It's moving in. And the tension you felt isn't resistance. It's expansion. Your body has become a place of deep divine work, not just spiritually, but biologically. Your nervous system is being rewired for peace. Your reflexes are being trained for presence. Your energy patterns are shifting not to keep up with the world, but to host a presence the world doesn't understand. And that's why it's felt lonely at times. When your body begins to respond to heaven, not everyone will understand. You'll say no to things that others still celebrate. You'll leave spaces that once felt comfortable. You'll crave stillness in a culture obsessed with noise. This is the cost of consecration. But it is also the privilege, because while others are chasing platforms, you're becoming a sanctuary. While others are performing for attention, you're preparing to carry what the prophets longed to see. And the presence resting on you now, it's not a phase. It's the beginning of habitation. The Spirit is not giving you goosebumps. He's giving you governance. You are learning to govern the atmosphere around you by what you carry within. And that starts with your body, your temple. The enemy would love for you to treat your body casually, to keep numbing, scrolling, indulging, because a numbed body is a silenced temple. But you've come too far for that now. You've tasted something real, and now the casual can no longer satisfy. And so, if this message is confirming what your spirit has already known, pause. Don't just keep scrolling. Like this message. Let that click be your public. Yes. Share it with someone whose temple is under construction. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is not about content. It's about staying aligned with the voice that's speaking directly into your process. And if the weight of this word is real to you, if it's pushing you deeper, calling you higher, consider sowing. Don't give out of emotion. Give out of revelation. Donate into what's transforming you. Your seed is your agreement. Your offering is your echo. You're not funding content, you're partnering with consecration. This is how movements are built, not with noise, but with obedience. And obedience starts with response. Let's go deeper. You've been told before that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. But now you understand, that's not just theological truth. That's prophetic reality. Your bones have become the scaffolding of sanctuary. Your breath, the incense, your habits, the priesthood, and your silence. Your silence has become the holiest part of your worship. You don't need the world's applause. You need God's approval, and you have it. But with favor comes formation. That's why the Spirit isn't just letting you drift anymore. That's why He's putting His finger on your rhythms, your food, your rest, your patterns, your posture, because the weight you're about to carry will rest on your body first. The scripture records in 2 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 14, "The glory of the Lord filled the temple." That temple is not stone anymore. That temple is you. And that same glory is what your body is now being prepared to carry without collapsing. People may not understand this level of awareness. They may accuse you of being too intense. Let them. They're not assigned to carry what you're carrying. You're not becoming weird. You're becoming set apart. And when the fullness of this glory comes, and it won't just move through your words. It will emanate from your presence. That's why your body has been under pressure. It's being prepared for release, for radiance. So if this word has reached you, really reached you, comment below. This is my season. Say it in faith. Say it in reverence. Say it in surrender. This is your season. Not for applause, not for hype, but for habitation, for embodiment, for divine weight made visible. The body you carry is no longer your own. It is the meeting place between heaven and earth. It is the resting place of the one who formed galaxies and now chooses to dwell in dust. You are that dust. And yet, through surrender, you've become holy ground. There is a stillness coming upon you, not as a sign of inactivity, but as evidence of alignment. You're not frozen. You're focused. And heaven has chosen this season to settle deeply into your frame. No longer a visitation. No longer a glimpse. This is habitation. And with habitation comes weight. With weight comes awareness. With awareness comes responsibility. You may have noticed lately that your body isn't responding to things the way it used to. What once entertained you now irritates you. What once comforted you now convicts you. Your flesh is no longer running the show. It's learning how to bow. And bowing is not weakness. It's warfare. Every time your body surrenders to what the Spirit is saying, something in the unseen realm begins to shift. Chosen one, you were never designed to live in separation. Your spirit and your body were meant to agree, but sin taught them to war. Religion taught them to compete. Culture taught them to ignore each other. But now the Spirit is teaching them to move as one. You are becoming a walking, breathing sanctuary. That's why the refining has touched everything: your cravings, your sleep, your pace, your posture. God is not ignoring your body. He's preparing to rest on it. This is not about perfection. This is about participation. The question is no longer, am I holy enough? But, am I willing enough? And your willingness is what has invited heaven to begin its construction from the inside out. Don't despise the days when your body feels heavy, slow, or disconnected. Sometimes, that's not warfare, it's wiring. The Spirit is reprogramming the way you carry presence. You used to carry it only in your mind, only in your emotions. But now, your shoulders are learning the weight of it. Your chest is adjusting to the wind of it. Your breath is deepening with the rhythm of it. You are no longer reaching for glory. You are learning to walk in it. And this walk is unlike anything the world can teach you. It doesn't demand outward beauty, only inward surrender. It doesn't require noise, only awareness. It doesn't chase adrenaline, only obedience. This walk is not for the strong in flesh, but for the soft in heart. That softness is forming in you now. Not timidity, not fragility, but the softness of yielded strength, the kind of softness that breaks chains without shouting, the kind of softness that allows the weight of God to settle without resistance. This is the softness of surrender. The prophet Ezekiel once described the glory of God so heavy that even the priests could no longer stand. He spoke of a presence so weighty, so real, that the human body could not remain upright in it. That same kind of glory is what is drawing near to your life. And your temple, your frame, is being prepared to endure it without falling, to contain it without shattering. Let's be honest, this preparation hasn't been easy. It's required you to let go of comforts, to walk away from pleasures that once gave you temporary peace, to walk into rhythms that feel uncomfortable, inconvenient, even lonely. But the fruit of this obedience is not momentary, it is eternal. And soon, the very areas of your body that once felt weakest, your gut, your back, your breath will become gateways for God's movement. Not symbolic, actual. There are places glory will go through you that words will never reach. There are lives that will shift just because you walked into the room, carrying something sacred in your stillness. This is why the preparation had to be so specific. God isn't preparing you to impress. He's preparing you to release. You are not a billboard for religion. You are a tabernacle for encounter. So walk softly now. Listen more than you speak. Eat with reverence. Rest with intention. Breathe like you know who gave you breath. Move like you know you are hosting something the earth has been groaning to receive. You are not in delay. You are in divine development. Every slow moment is sacred. Every quiet hour is active. And every obedient action, no matter how small, is building the structure that will hold glory. Moses declared in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6, "For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you." So, if you feel the pressure, the tightness, the holy weight pressing into your body, don't retreat. Don't harden. Stay soft. Stay low. Stay yielded. Because He is with you in the fire. He is forming you in the silence. And He is preparing you to carry what the world cannot contain. You are approaching the threshold now. Everything until this point has been formation, internal realignment, physical awakening, spiritual stretching. But now the oil is starting to settle. The fire is beginning to rest. The glory is drawing closer with intention, not to touch you for a moment, but to remain. This is not just your next season. This is your new nature. There's something in the air around you, and your body can feel it before your mind catches up. A clarity that doesn't come from striving, a strength that doesn't come from effort, a rest that doesn't come from inactivity, but from alignment. This is what it feels like when your temple is ready. Chosen one. Your preparation has not been wasted. Every adjustment, every surrender, every shaking, it was all to make room. Because what God is about to place on you cannot rest on clutter. It cannot flow through compromise. It requires a vessel that has been set apart, not just in word, but in action. And that is exactly who you have become. You've noticed the difference. How you now carry yourself with greater intention. How conversations that once drained you now feel foreign. How the atmosphere bends differently when you enter. You are no longer trying to carry glory, you are hosting it. And you're not doing it with force, but with flow. This is the evidence that your body has come under the government of heaven. Your feet are not just walking, they're being sent. Your hands are not just moving, they're being used. Your eyes are not just seeing, they're beginning to perceive. You are no longer simply responding to God's presence, you are revealing it. This is why the pain increased before the release. Your frame had to be stretched to hold more. Your breath had to deepen to match the weight. Your reflexes had to slow down to catch divine rhythm. What felt like delay was actually calibration. What looked like limitation was actually insulation for protection until you could hold what's holy. You didn't break. You didn't bow out. You stayed. And now heaven is responding. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, once delivered a word that now echoes in your being. Found in chapter 1, verse 9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. Amda, that's not just for prophets. That's for temples. That's for you. Because when God fills a vessel, he doesn't just give it sound, he gives it substance. And what's about to come out of you will not be empty encouragements, but anointed utterances. Words wrapped in weight, movements soaked in oil. Your body has become an extension of the throne. You'll notice it in strange moments. In the middle of routine tasks, the Spirit will rise. You'll feel it in your chest. A holy pressure, a signal. You'll open your mouth, or extend a hand, or simply stand still, and something will shift around you. Not because of performance, but because of presence. That is what you carry now. You are not a random vessel. You are a mobile altar, a breathing sanctuary. And that means your steps have become sacred space. Your silence has become a signal. Your stillness, a shout in the spirit realm. What began as internal surrender has now become external activation. Your body is no longer merely surviving. It is hosting something eternal. The dreams will intensify. The impressions will deepen. The Spirit will speak not only to your spirit, but through your flesh. Your spine will register instruction. Your breath will synchronize with divine timing. And your discernment will move from feeling to knowing. This is embodiment at the highest level. You are no longer trying to hear God from afar. You are realizing he has taken up residence within you. His voice now echoes in your organs. His peace rests in your posture. His weight rests in your walk. And with that weight comes legacy. You will raise atmospheres, not just ideas. You will birth change without needing a crowd. You will lay hands without fanfare and see things break. Not because you chased visibility, but because you made yourself habitable. This is the reward of a prepared vessel, not attention, but assignment. So, walk forward, not in fear, but in fullness. Heaven has entrusted you with weight. Earth is waiting to feel it through you. Creation is groaning for it. You are not just carrying glory for yourself. You are carrying it for regions, for generations, for realms beyond your understanding. This is no longer about how spiritual you feel. This is about how surrendered you live. You've passed through the fire. You've made room. You've yielded your temple. And now, you are ready. Chosen one. If you've made it to this point, it is no accident. Heaven has walked with you through every word, every pause, every moment of conviction that reached into your very bones. You did not just listen, you received. You did not just scroll, you surrendered. And for that, the kingdom is moving in ways you may not yet see, but will surely feel. Your body is no longer common ground. It is consecrated territory. And from this day forward, every breath, every step, every fiber of your being carries evidence that you have been marked by the Most High. So, don't let this be the end. Let it be ignition. If this word pierced your spirit, if your body responded in ways you couldn't explain, don't keep it to yourself. Like this message as your declaration of agreement. Share it with someone whose temple is under reconstruction. Subscribe, so you remain connected to the stream of anointing being poured into this space. And if the Spirit has moved in you deeply, sow into what has sown into you. Your giving isn't payment, it's prophecy. Your seed is not about content, it's about covenant. Partner with this move and place your offering on the altar of what just shifted you. Lastly, comment below with just one phrase. My temple is ready. Let that phrase echo through realms. Let it stand as your personal declaration that you are no longer waiting to be filled. You are hosting glory now. The fire has fallen. The frame has been prepared. And now you walk in power.